Notions of good and bad are actually human constructs. There is nothing inherently good or bad. Everything just is exactly how it has been programmed or conditioned by life and nature. That means that, for example, when you take felines like cats or lions or leopards, panthers, etc., they are gorgeous animals. They have a lot of amazing qualities, like they're beautiful, they can be sensual, playful, very loving, very caring, but at the same time, they have to kill to sustain themselves. So that means that fundamentally, they are murderers, you know? And then we can judge that as a very bad quality, But they don't know any better. They don't have the option to turn vegan. So are they bad creature? No. They're exactly perfect how they've been conditioned by nature. And now it's easier to think about this concept when we look at nature. For example, it doesn't happen often that we will say like, oh, this is a good tree and this is a bad tree. No, we just say, oh, this is a beautiful tree and this is a weird tree. And yeah, but with humans, we tend to do that a lot. We tend to say like, oh, this is a bad individual, or oh, this is a good person. But who are we to judge people without knowing anything about them? It's like when we see beggars or people that struggle with addictions, like alcoholism or drug addictions, etc. We have no ideas about the characteristics of their life and what led them to this path. And and it's very likely that if we would have been growing up and living with the same set of circumstances that they did, maybe we would have ended up way worse than them. So yeah, so we cannot judge people as good or bad. We can only just acknowledge that some people are working with lighter energies and some people are working with darker energies, and not just how they've been kind of conditioned. Now, as humans, we also have the notion of free will. So you can see it as 90% to 95% of all the things that we do, it's heavily conditioned by our subconscious, which is influenced by so many things, our upbringing, our friendships, the things that we've studied, the events that happen to us, even astrology and all these things, the influence of the astro on the characteristics of our life. But then what's funny is that if you look at twins that are exactly looking the same, they will have a totally different life. And how is that? It's because there are so much more complexities to our life, and people have a soul that have like already past life karmas and things that we came here to experience. And yeah, so we always can judge people, but it's just pushing away aspect of reality. So the best thing we can do, and that is highly encouraged by tantric teachings, is dropping into full acceptance of what is, embracing everything that is exactly as it is, and not trying to resist anything. Because one fundamental law of life is whatever we resist persists. So picture this: whenever you're like, let's say you're at a gathering with friends or at a party, and then there is this individual that you really don't like, you really don't vibe with, and and then you get stuck on like, oh fuck, this person is here now, like I really didn't, I was having a good time with my friends before that, and now there is this guy or this woman, and like it's so annoying. And so the more you fixate on it, the more you resist their presence, the more it's going to torture you. So the best thing we can do is to accept, okay, there is this person that I don't vibe with, so it is. The best thing I can do is accept their presence, but maybe not engage with them, or maybe just be polite, but not go deeper than that. And like this, I will preserve my peace. Because another fundamental law of the universe that we can find in Tantra as well is that energy flows where attention goes. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you know this thing already, but they are so important. And those are concepts that I try to remind myself every day. And yeah, so when we focus our attention on things that troubles us, or that trigger us and that we cannot change anything about, it's just going to torture us. So the best thing you can do is like, okay, I accept this source of annoyance and I just focus on what I want to cultivate in me energetically. Or I'm just going to focus on my own energy, on my own inner light and be happy with this. Like this, I'm not going to be affected negatively by this individual or this triggering energy. People like miserable, and then I feel a lot of empathy towards them. The thing is that then I'm starting to feel their pain, and it's not taking any pain away from them.
No.
It's just me matching their vibration, and then I'm just suffering for them without even doing any positive difference, you know.
Yeah, and like you described, like going to an event, to a party or anything, and there's someone and it's not even that I don't like the person, it's more I feel like, oh, energetically, I'm not drawn to this person, and if it tries to make a conversation with me or anything, I'm just like, yeah, having like a little small talk, but then it's fine for me, or even not that, because I'm just stepping out of it, because I feel like I'm just putting my energy into it, and it doesn't give me any back, so it's just energy taking and not energy giving
Totally.
for me.
Yeah, and a lot of people are energy vampires.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy actually. A lot of people do that. They just fight
Yes.
for energies. They always try to go into arguments or like, I mean, women are way more naturally sensitive to this, but you felt it like sometimes when like people have a lot of sexual desires for you or things like this. You know, it's like I'm sure you can feel it like a kind of energy that's trying to get something from you. You know, yeah. So yeah, it's very important to understand that energy is abundant everywhere and even in very polluted environments, but especially in nature, like that's where we can find the most chi, the most prana, the most life force. And so when people realize that they don't have to fight for energies like energy vampires, then that they can just plug into the energy of nature to find this unconditional love, or this energy from the sky to find this divine healing light, you know. And then the more we can focus on these energies, the more we become unlimited, and then we don't have to fight with other people over power, you know, because a lot of people, yeah, do that energetically. Now I like, yeah.
I was just wanted to ask, Hatha yoga is created of Tantra yoga. So when is the
Yeah.
origin of Tantra? When was the origin from Tantra? Like, do you know? Like,
Honestly, it
roundabout?
might have been like, well, thousands of years ago for sure. Now, I've studied many different lineages of Tantra. I've started in India, studying different Hinduist lineages of Tantra. I even went to Kashmir to study Kashmir Shaivism, which is one of the purest source of tantric teachings. But there is also Tibetan Buddhist Tantra. This one I've just skimmed the surface of it, but it's very interesting as well. There are Taoist teachings that are like basically Chinese Tantra. These ones like are recorded to like 3,000 years ago, maybe a bit more. And then I came across Egyptian Tantra, which is like, yeah, even earlier than that. And it's actually said that people like Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene were initiated to this, to harness energy, expand energy, and Jesus Christ was actually a master in that. And that's how he cultivated such powerful energy field that he was able to move masses, even up to this day.